Hi there Facebook, it's Kamal Fernandez from Marka. I'm going to just drop this around. I always do this. I always have to look at my head. There we go. That's better. I should really have that at a certain height. So welcome, I'm Kamal Fernandez, CEO of Marka. Most of you will probably know me from Kamal Fernandez Dog Training. All this week we're going to be doing a series of lives, myself and my the fellow founder of Marka, Di Martin. She's going to be joining me tomorrow to talk about all things puppies, and it's something that we both are super passionate about. We both love puppies. I certainly love puppies. And this week we're going to be giving you some tips and helpful hints about puppies, how to raise them, things to avoid, and classic problems that people get. So obviously if you have a puppy and you want to ask any questions, just post them on this thread or any of the threads where this might be shared or posted. It'll be on my own page, it'll be on the Click to Heal page, which is Di Martin's business based in Bracknell. It'll be on the Marka communities page. So if you see it anywhere, just pop a question in and just tag myself, Kamal Fernandez, or Di Martin in it, and we will answer those questions for you. If somebody is picking up this live, can you just give me a thumbs up to let me know that you can hear me okay? Because I'm just always mindful of the Tinternet working for us. So just give me a thumbs up or a comment. Either or is all good. Hopefully you can hear me loud and clear. Anybody hear me? Let's have a look. Can anybody hear anybody watching? Let's have a look. I'm going to just make sure that I'm excellent. All good, thank you. Excellent. Thank you, Richard. Richard is one of our teams and who deals with many of the market issues. So I'm going to be talking about what do you do when you first get a puppy home as the first conversation, and it's something that so many people struggle with. They don't know when they're getting a puppy or they've got a puppy, they're unsure about what to do with it. So I'm going to give you some simple things that you need to be mindful of that will make sure that you start your relationship with your puppy on the best foot. So all this week, as I said, we're going to be doing live talking about things related to puppies. If you have questions about puppies or just dog training in general, post them on any of the places where you see this shared, or come to the Marka page, post a question there, and we will pick it up and we'll endeavour to answer that for you. Or just email the team or PM us. There's loads of ways in which you can get in contact with us. We are super friendly and we want to get great information about puppies out there, or dogs in general and dog behaviour. So myself and Di created Marka to help people know more about dogs, understand dog training, and to hopefully raise this bar in the type of dog training that people can get with their dogs and their puppies. Well, we are super excited because this week is the launch of our Ultimate Puppy course, which is available to buy, and I'll share the link in the comments afterwards, or even Richard could possibly share that for me, Richard. Where if you have a puppy or you know somebody that's got a puppy or you're getting a puppy, I'm going to put my neck on the line and say it's probably the best online puppy course that I think is available. It is so comprehensive, it is so detailed, there is so much information from literally picking your puppy and looking at a breeder to getting it to walk on a loose lead, dealing with puppy biting, settling it into a crate, all the things that so many people struggle with their puppies and ultimately can help or hinder their relationship. So we will, as I said, we'll share the link, and if you're interested in that, go to Train with Marka, our website. Again, Richard will share the link, and you can become part of the Marka community where we are sharing great knowledge about puppies. So today's conversation is about getting your puppy in your home in that first that first couple of weeks in your home, or certainly it's the first night or so in your home. I'm going to share some videos later on of a puppy that I had earlier in the year. He was a puppy that I bred, and he's gone to the Netherlands. He was gone to a really good friend of mine in Holland, and obviously he had to stay with me a little bit longer before he was able to travel. So what I did was I shared a lot of his early integration into my home, his training, getting him settled on a Facebook group, and I'm going to actually share some of that content with the Marka community all this week, or anybody that is on Facebook. And I'm going to share some videos of my first night with him, getting him settled in a crate and so forth, and just practical things that you can do. So you've hopefully got your puppy, or you've decided where you're going to get your puppy from, whether it be a rescue, a rehome, a breeder, a friend, a family member, etc. And you sourced your puppy, and hopefully you've done your due diligence, which is again covered extensively in the Train with Marka online course, Ultimate Puppy Course. If you don't have a puppy and you're thinking about getting one, now is the time to get that course so that you can start your relationship off on the best foot. So those of you that have got your puppy and planned it, and bring your puppy home, what things should you be considering when you bring your puppy into your home? So people talk about puppy proofing, and what is that? What does that look like? Okay, so really what you want to do when you get a puppy is you want to start before you even get it home, thinking about the environment that it's going to live in. And remember, if you control the environment, you're going to have a better influence on the puppy's behaviour, and hopefully not have them rehearse inappropriate choices and inappropriate behaviours, which then you have to work through and try and fix. So as a rule of thumb, we obviously crate train at Marka. We strongly advocate for crate training, where for several reasons. One is it creates a safe space for your puppy. Puppies need a lot of sleep. We're going to be covering that later in the week about the importance of sleep and sleep patterns and the ramifications of not having great sleep patterns in place. But having your puppy in allocated space, a safe area where they can be put away and they can get some rest, they can have their own downtime, away from the family member, away from the family members, and away from the hustle and bustle of the home, is really, really important. So what I do with my dogs is I will have two locations. One is in my bedroom, with a crate next to me, so when I have them in and I settle them in, I don't like my puppies to scream indefinitely. That's really, really important to me. I don't like them to get stressed, so I have them in my room next to me, and I will all, depending, on the size of my crate, I've got a sofa bed in the living room, so I can sleep in the living room with them. That's my way in which I want to settle them into my home. So I'll have one crate in my bedroom or somewhere away from the most busy areas in my home, and I'll also have, actually where I'm sitting normally, I'll have a crate and an X-pen set out. So an X-pen is a secondary barrier, so the puppy can have its crate, it can have a little space in there, and it can have an external boundary or a barrier, so it has its own designated environment. And that I would put in the more busier location in my home, because the goal is to have my dogs integrated into the way in which I live my life, to understand my routines, understand my patterns, understand all the pros and cons and things to do in my house, and also give them a safe space where they can be with my other dogs but not necessarily in contact with them. So your first real consideration is obviously getting your puppy home from your respective source, and thinking about obviously at the time that you're going to get them. Try and get them in the morning so that you have the whole day to settle them in as best you can. If you get them obviously later in the evening, the chances are is that they're going to be a little bit more busier and you're going to have problems setting them in. So I like to always get my puppies early-ish in the day, and I like to get the information from the person I've got getting the puppy from, whether it be a breeder or the rescue or foster, etc., about their routine, so I can use that to help me integrate my puppy into my home. So I'll get the puppy home and I'll try and find out feeding patterns with the breeder, how they feed them, when they feed them in their routine, so that I can settle them in, and what they've done for toilet training, so I can get all that information, so I can use that as the stepping stone to bring my puppy into my home. So the last puppy I had was actually my little mini poodle Beryl, which I've shared some stuff on social media with her. Her breeder was absolutely fantastic. Shout out to Emily Mulholland, awesome of toddly poodles, absolutely wonderful, wonderful breeder. Did stacks and stacks with the puppies. She's only thankfully about half an hour from here, so it was really great. We could pick her up mid-morning, and it gave us loads of time to bring her home, settle her in so she could, be integrated into the home before we had our first evening with her, which she actually slept on the bed, which is one of the things that I've done with my puppies. I'm all for settling them in and getting them comfortable in the first 24 hours, really, okay? So once I've got my puppy settled into, once I've got my puppy home, based on the timing that I bring them home, what I would have done before I got them home would have puppy-proofed them, my environment. So I would have gone around to the locations my puppy is in and either moved things out of their way, for example, wires, cables, anything like that, which they can get through, try and put some sort of barrier or something to stop them getting there. Try and move anything that they're likely to chew or bite. Think about what they might interact with. So my puppies, I've got a rug here, which has quite long tassels, as it were, on it, or quite thick thread on it. And puppies like to chew that. So if they're on that, I tend to monitor them, or I give them alternative things to interact with, so they're not getting into the habit of chewing things in my home. So I'm puppy proof in my home. My home's obviously, I have dogs, so that's a bit of a disadvantage for me, where it's already dog proofed. So things like bins, etc., have lids on them. They're all secure. Any items that I think the puppy could interact with have probably been moved away because of my other dogs. Maybe not quite so much as they're older with my older dog, excuse me, because I could trust them a little bit more, but definitely with a puppy, pick up anything that they can get access to. Now that might also be different depending on the breed. If you have a smaller puppy, you might want to think as well of your outside environments, your garden, any fences. So for example, when my gate to go into my garden has a tiny little gap, when Beryl was a tiny puppy, she could easily get under that. So I put a barrier up there, that way if she's out in the garden, even if I'm with her, she's not rehearsing slipping under the fence, and obviously it's a safety issue as well. So putting a barrier up is something simple that can be done. Think about looking at your environment. If you've got plants, etc., in your garden, think about having some fencing around there, get some X-Pen. What you can do is go online and go to sort of Marketplace or Buy, Sell, Swap or eBay and get some, fence panels for puppy crate fence panels, and you can stake them out so that they're protecting anything that you don't want your puppy to get access to. So you're puppy proofed your home, you've made it really, really safe. You want to think about where your safe spaces are for your puppy and where they're going to be in your environment. One should be where the puppy can be segregated from the people in the house, so it can get some really great rest and sleep. A bedroom, a quiet space, anywhere that you think that is appropriate in your home where the puppy can be put and it doesn't have people, a lot of foot traffic, so it's not being disturbed, is really, really important. And then a secondary location where the puppy can be around you, around the family members, and learn to be around them and not rehearse inappropriate behaviour. So that might be in your kitchen, it might be in your living room. I've got a really small kitchen, so I don't have my crates in my kitchen because it would take too much space, but I definitely have one in my living room, and then my X-Pen is set up. So for example, if I'm doing some work on my laptop, my puppy can be in the X-Pen and they can learn to be around me and not just have to be continually occupied or entertained. So that's really, really important. So you've puppy-proofed your environment, you've planned your day around getting your puppy home, you've thought about the journey that you're going to have. If need be, if it's a long journey, you want to be thinking about planning your routes so that you can have little stops on the way. I've got lots of locations up and down the country where I know are safe, that I can walk my dogs, and I can definitely let a puppy out if need be. Service stations are an option, but just be mindful they're a little bit busy. And if your puppy is already stressed by the travelling, that could be a little bit more additional stress. So try and use Google Maps and look for quiet locations, little parks, away from the busyness, so that you can let your puppy have a little leg stretch. If need be, you can have it on, because it probably won't have had a collar and a lead on, but you can pop the puppy down and hopefully it's going to be safe in that location. And if it does wander off, you can catch it and get it back. If you decide to put it on the floor, you need to balance that out with obviously safety issues at all times. So, but you want to think about planning your route. So I've had puppies from all up and down the country. My man in my jungle was from near Staffordshire way. My Schnauzer was from sort of Cambridge way. So I plan my journey home, so I've got little pit stops on the way to let my puppy out in case they need to go to the toilet. And ideally take somebody with you so they can comfort the puppy. That's a huge thing. Obviously, if you have a breeder that's done some work with the puppy and got it used to travelling, you're going to be at somewhat of an advantage. But you don't want to assume that even if they have, it's still coming away from the siblings, coming away from their mother, coming away from their home environment or a known environment, and being travelled home is quite a lot for a puppy. So view it from the puppy's point of view and make sure that you make it as stress-free as you possibly can. The chances are your puppy's going to be a little bit upset by that change. That's not unusual. So you want to just factor that in when you bring them home, allow them to decompress over that week so they can just settle in. Think about your feeding beforehand. One of the things that the breeders that I've had puppies from have been really good has been when we we communicate and I decide when I'm going to pick the puppy up. They won't feed the puppy necessarily just before because they don't want it to get sick, travel sick, so they feed them maybe a little bit earlier. They might adjust their feeding schedule so the puppy's had a meal. Hopefully it will be going to the toilet with the breeder, and then when I pick it up, I can stop and either give it lunch on the way, depending on the journey, or when I get home. For example, with Beryl, it was really easy to get her home, wait a couple of hours and then give her something. And that's a great way to start that bonding process as well, where the puppy starts to associate you and the home with good things happening to them. So you've got your puppy home, you've puppy-proofed your environment, you've got your safe spaces. Again, if you have the advantage of a breeder that has put the due diligence in to crate train them and get them comfortable with a crate, that first night of popping them in a crate or having them in a crate throughout the day, hopefully will be easier. But even if you have had that input from a breeder, there's always a possibility, because of the change of environment, change of circumstances, the puppy could still be a little bit stressed and upset by it. My personal choice and what we advocate is, Marka, is to spend the time getting the puppy comfortable. You know, one of the things that we show in our online training is Di with a young puppy, sitting with it and settling it and being with it and just pacifying it, sitting next to the crate and letting the puppy got a little bit upset, but just calming down and eventually falling asleep. That's really, really normal. And then gradually moving away from the puppy, and then obviously getting up in the night if need be to let them out for a toilet break, etc., whilst you get them into your routine. So you've puppy-proofed, you've got your puppy home, you decided where they're going to be for their safe space. You're now thinking about that first night in their toilet training routine. So one of the big struggles, we're going to go into this in greater depth, is toilet training and getting them clean in the house. Certainly the first 24 hours, you want to get the puppy in good habits. So what I tend to do with my puppies is I will have an area in my garden where I'll take them, and I will wait as long as it takes for them to go to the toilet. Time it when they've had a meal, you know, within 15 minutes probably a puppy's needing to go to the toilet, and I will probably initially take the puppy back each time to that location when I want it to go to the toilet. Hopefully the scent and the smells will stimulate it to urinate or defecate in that area again. So that can start a good habit and a good pattern of the puppy being clean outside as opposed to inside. Now, puppies are puppies, they're going to have an accident. Big thing is, don't make a drama of it, don't correct them, don't punish them, clean it up, make sure that you put something that diffuses or kills the smell so that it doesn't draw them back, something that specifically for dog urine or dogs defecating, so that you can remove the scent, and then you can again take them outside and repeat that process of getting them out to the same location as much as you can. Puppies are notorious for needing to go to the toilet several times, and sometimes they can get distracted by, you know, a blade of grass or a leaf blowing. Just be patient, don't be in a rush. If it's bad weather, get an umbrella, have that by the location that or your back door, so you can, and what I do is I have Crocs ready by the back door, so I can slip them on, get my puppy out really, really quickly, so I have anything, if it's a puppy that I've had and it's been raining, I'll have an umbrella by the back door, or I'll have my jacket there ready, so I can slip those on, get my puppy out, because the time it takes to source those things, you get the puppy outside, then you're reluctant to stay out there. Then what happens is the puppy comes back in, it goes to the toilet in the house, and that simple little issue can create a longer or bigger problem that you need to address. So consider that when you're toilet training. So you've got your puppy in. Again, next thing is to think about feeding them. So I would always advocate people get the feeding pattern from the breeder and initially try and replicate it. And then over a period of a couple of days, transition to whatever is appropriate for your lifestyle. I tend to hand feed my puppies to do a lot of training or interaction or enrichment with them, so their feeding might come in the form of a Kong or a snaffle mat or some training and interaction, or out and socialising or seeing the world, and as they move, as they get older, it might be on a walk, working on recalls, and it will be used throughout their day to form good habits with them. When you initially get them home, think about the food that they have, transitioning from the breeder to whatever diet that you feed your dogs. My dogs are raw fed. I've had puppies that have been brought up on raw, puppies that are brought on kibble, and I transition them over a couple of days. Remember, they're going to have a lot of stress with changing environments. They're going to have stress from leaving their siblings and their mother. So just be mindful when you change their food, to be patient with that process. Don't try and rush it. Some puppies have no issues, others can have a little bit of upset, so just be mindful, because there's a lot of things happening in that puppy's life. Big thing that I tend not to do is when I first get them home, take them to too many places within the first 24 to 48 hours. I want them to just settle in my home. Obviously, if you have people that are integral in the puppy's life, for example, children, family members, by all means start the process of integrating them or socialising them, but just be mindful of how much. Don't try and take them here, there and everywhere and overexpose them, because that's going to overstimulate your puppy. You're going to stress them out, and you don't want that to be the foundation of your relationship with them. So consider that when you bring them home. I tend to be a little bit conservative, not overexpose them for at least the first 24 to 48 hours, and then gradually incorporate them into my life. Obviously, as what I do, I'm travelling a lot, so I have to get my puppies used to being travelled, and I will do that really, really quickly. So once I've got them settled in my home, within 48 hours, I'm starting the process of travelling with them. Even if it's to do with the school run, I'll put the puppy in the crate, come back, so it's only short journeys, and I'm building up the puppy being comfortable and happy in that environment. I try and time it so that my routine falls in line with the puppies. So think puppies are going to need sleep patterns. Again, we're going to talk about that in greater detail later in the week. But a big thing is making sure that I'm understanding that the puppy's going to need rest throughout the day. So what I tend to do is get up early enough, sort the puppy out, do some training, interaction, etc. Feed it its meals, make sure it's going to the toilet. And when I feel the puppy is naturally going to be tired, I can pop them in my van or my vehicle, and then I will do the school run, which helps them. They're more likely to be wanting to fall asleep, so they're rehearsing appropriate behaviours. So considering those little things about what you want from your dog in your lifestyle is really, really important. It might initially mean, waking up that little bit earlier so that you can adjust your schedule to embed the puppy into your lifestyle. Really, really important to start thinking about what your routine looks like and what you want that puppy to do. So, for example, if I'm in the school run, I'm not going to have time to be focused on the puppy, so the puppy's either in a crate or an X-pen or travelling with me. It's hopefully resting, where prior to that, my puppy has had stimulation and enrichment and is ready for a little nap in the morning. So that will probably go from about 8:30 to 10:30 when the puppy was younger. And then I will repeat that routine without bits of interaction, and enrichment, and then back to another nap. So that little cycle will repeat until the end of the day, and when I'm starting my routine to have them go to bed. And I would initially, it would be entertain the puppy, make sure its needs are met. Puppy goes in the crate well before I'm actually ready to settle down myself. So, half an hour, 20 minutes, half an hour. So the puppy can just mill around in its crate, and then the crate would be next to me. Light goes off, settle the puppy, and I would often just put my hand in and tickle them and let them just unwind, and then let them settle. And then obviously if they need to get up in the middle of the night, what I would do is have a collar and a lead which has a snap fit, okay? So that way I tend not to turn the light on. I would pick the puppy up, no interaction, have the lead attached to the collar already, so that, or I would have an X-pen in my garden, either or. So what I don't want is to put the puppy down in the garden, it runs around endlessly, and it's either getting loads of enjoyment and fun and stimulation from the environment at 3 o'clock in the morning, which I don't want, or it's getting distracted, which really I want the puppy to go to the toilet and go straight back to bed. So leads attached to the collar, collar goes on the puppy, or an X-pen out in the garden, no interaction, pick the puppy up, goes out in the garden, I have my shoes, etc. by the back door ready, puppy goes for a wee, no interaction, pick the puppy up, back in the crate, collar comes off, lead comes off, puppy's goes back to sleep, and again maybe tickle my fingers in to settle it, and then hopefully the puppy will go back to sleep. That's what I tend to do with my puppies to get them settled, so that they are learning to sleep through the night. Because that's the big thing, when you get a puppy home, there is going to be a change in your routine, and the goal is to have them so that they will align with your routine as quickly as possible, and you can get them. So again, sleep deprivation is a classic thing that happens with puppies. then what happens is either the puppy has sleep deprivation, is not getting enough sleep, or the owners are, and as a result then you're fatigued, you're irritable, what the puppy does becomes more troublesome, more challenging, and again that sets the foundation for your relationship. So all those little things allow you to start off on the best foot forward, which is really, really what Marka is all about. The Ultimate Puppy course does exactly that in greater detail. It talks about how to start your puppy off on the best possible foundation to create a dog that you can enjoy for the 15 or hopefully 16 or 17 years that you own them. So it's really about getting those first building blocks correct. Puppies learn in pictures and patterns, and it's down to us to create the right associations and emotional conditioning response so that we create a dog that can function in the world in a healthy, well-adjusted, balanced manner. All right, so I'm not sure if anybody has any questions that's watching. So just some thoughts there about puppies from me. Feel free to ask any questions. Whilst I slurp my coffee. Let's have a quick look, make sure that I'm not mixing anything. Let's have a quick look. Oh. Okay, I don't think there's any questions. So, just some insight into puppies, getting them settled into your home. As I said, we love puppies at Marka. It's why we created the online course, the Ultimate Puppy course, which you now can sign up for. So Richard has very kindly shared the link to the Ultimate Puppy course in the chat. If you're interested in into that, sign up. You can go to our website and find out information. So Richard asked, do you put a cue word on toilet? Yes, I do. My word is hurry up, which means to my dogs, or go to the toilet, depending on what it is. So I do that just before my puppy is about to be placed on the ground. So I've taken, for example, if it's the middle of the night, I pick my puppy up, minimal interaction so they don't think it's playtime. Hurry up, put my puppy down in the area where it's previously been to the toilet. Hopefully that will encourage them. I reward them, good puppy, well done, a little bit of interaction or love. Pick the puppy up, back to bed, and I would repeat that throughout. Obviously, if it's in the daytime, I might even reinforce it with a treat or some praise, certainly, to let the puppy know that that's what I want them to do. So it's really about preempting when you can tell the puppy's going to go to the toilet and putting the word in just beforehand. You can normally start to read their body language and tell. They either start to sniff around or their tail starts to twitch a little bit oddly. You know that they're going to need to go to the toilet. So yeah, so just some thoughts there about puppies. And as I said, if you're interested in signing up for the Ultimate Puppy course, just follow the link and I'll share that. So we're going to be doing lives all this week. Myself, Di, will be joining me tomorrow, which I'm really looking forward to. That should be super fun. If you're interested, just go to follow Marka on Facebook, and it will be shared on our other social media platforms. But if you're interested in signing up for the course, just go to Train with Marka and look up the Ultimate Puppy course, which is in the link. All right, guys, thank you for listening. Hopefully that's been interested about puppy training and getting your puppy settled in. Tomorrow we're going to be talking about another aspect of puppy, raising your puppy to have them in your home and to start off on the best possible foot, which is really what Marka is all about. All right, whatever you're doing, if you've got puppy, share some pictures of your puppies. Let us know how you're getting on. We'd love to see puppy photos. So by all means, share those and tag us in those. And whatever you're doing, enjoy the rest of your day and be safe. Take care, everybody. Bye.